Good morning. It's time for another mystery, and I'm on the Brother Cadfael Chronicles. I'll be reviewing Brother Cadfael Chronicles for a while, and they are more enjoyable each one you read. We've already had 1, 2, and 3, so this is number 4, and they follow consecutively. They relate to each other, so it's really enjoyable if you read one after the other. This time we have a fair. St. Peter's and St. Paul's is having a fair. People from all over are bringing in their wares and setting up their wares. And if you want to see a medieval fair, read this book because the visual descriptions are the descriptions are quite visual. Down by the river, along Shrewsbury, townspeople of Shrewsbury are not very happy because the money that is paid for rental of the space for the people setting up their fair all go to the Abbey. And the Abbey makes this money, but the townspeople don't. And they have to provide the food, set up their streets, have the people blocking their businesses so that they can set up their fair goods, and they don't think it's fair and they want money. So they have a group of men who come in, confront the abbot, and there's a new abbot right now, Abbot Rodolphus, and he says, "No, I'm not changing the charter. We'll discuss this further, but I am not changing the charter now. All the money comes into the coffer in the Abbey." And the townspeople go away very angry. So all the merchants are coming in, picking the best spots, setting up their booths, setting up their wares, and a group of young men come in and confront one of the wine merchants and about this very same issue, and become quite vocal, and the merchant just shoves him off and turns his back on him. And so the youngster grabs his arm and he turn him around, and he clouts him with his staff or whatever they use around for walking and everything, and causes a gash in his head, and he's bleeding. So then the other young people all start rioting and throwing the wine in the river, and it turns into a brawl. So this isn't good. We have to have the garrison, or whatever you call all the military, come out and calm this down. And this is before the fair even starts. This is just setting up the fair. So anyway, there's bound to be one difficulty after another in this, as we've seen from this one. It's all of the characters. We don't have Hugh Beringer in there, who relates very well with Cadfael. And I love every time they're in an interchange of information, because they have good competitive minds and very strong character in the previous books, but he's not in this one as much. However, we have a lot of action, we have a lot of characters, and each one is very clearly embedded in my mind. And it's interesting that when I read it, I know who the character is, and yet if you ask me the names, I'm not good with names, so I don't remember all the names of all the characters. But in this one, we have a young lady she's just beautiful, and of course, and she has that causes problems, and she is the daughter of the wine merchant who is found floating in the river the next day, unclothed and dead. And we have a mystery. We have a murder mystery. We have to solve it. So, going into all the detail of this book would be too time consuming, but you have got to read it. It's fascinating, and it has some challenges. I think it's quite clear who the young lady is. She winds up moving up and living with Hugh Behringer's wife. He puts her up in his home with his wife for her protection, because on her boat, everybody brings their, not everybody, but a number of people bring their goods to the market in their boats, and that's why it's down by the river, by the town Shrewsbury and the river, and he doesn't want her to stay there without her father or her uncle and guardian when there are just 3 other men there. But it gets very complicated. But it's fascinating, and just the descriptions, just the activity and the hustle bustle and the twists and turns in this carry you along. I mean, this is one to read. It's the 4th Chronicle of Cadfael, the Fair of St. Peter, but of course it's St. Peter and St. Paul, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye.